Season 2026, do the New England Patriots have their questions? They absolutely do. And I think this is being recorded, obviously, just after losing in the Super Bowl to the Seattle Seahawks. I think there's a lot of questions that come out of this game. Obviously, I think a lot of people are going to hold the offensive line, McDaniels, Vrabel, really to account on this. Obviously, Drake May will hold blame in this as well. You can't continuously fumble the ball without it being a big deal. Yes, McDaniels could have done more. Yes, Vrabel was probably a bit too conservative. But let's be real, that offensive line needs work. Bradbury's probably gone this offseason. They'll probably slide Wilson to center. They need to look at potentially sliding Campbell to left guard, left tackle. We shall see. But in reality, there's a lot of questions that need to be happening. Obviously, Diggs is signing, obviously, that big long term, well, not long term, mid to long term deal. He's earning a lot per year. It was obviously a deal that they had a potential to maneuver around into the second year. Is there a restructure coming? Potentially so. In reality, I look at the off season ahead, and obviously Gonzalez the extension of Gonzalez is definitely coming. He's one of the absolute premier cornerbacks in the league. It's night and day. Everyone talks about you know Stingley and Satan. Gonzalez is there with them. Absolutely Gonzalez with them. Gonzalez is the best cornerback on the field tonight, night and day. So that's coming. So knowing that is coming, the off season is a massive question mark. I think looking at Will Campbell, I think there's really still such an injury there, and because of that, yes, okay, performance wasn't great, but he's bull rushed time and time again this year. He's run over guys as wide as me, and look, I'm not your average Joe. I get that. I'm also not those guys on that field. I absolutely am nowhere near that. And I seem to stand a chance against Will Campbell. He needs to go left guard. I think he'd be a great left guard as well, by the way. Him left guard and Big Mike at right guard works really, really well. But they need a stalwart left tackle. That was the big thing tonight that I look at. And if they had a stalwart left tackle there, I'm not saying the Patriots won, not even in the slightest. The Seahawks were better across pretty much all phases of the game. But I tell you what, quite a few of those sort of three and outs or, short drives would have gone further. He gave your defense a bit more rest. Lo and behold, from there. I mean, the one thing, that I take away from this game is, yes, you go from a team that's picking fourth overall to being the team that picks 31st overall. That's a massive upswing, and that is a massive improvement. And it is. There's no doubt that it's a massive improvement, and no one would deny that. But there comes question marks. Douglas, nothing from him really in the off season. Booty, nothing in the Super Bowl. Diggs, nothing. Henry's a big one. Henry, really nothing in the off season. And look, I think the Patriots could look at the tight end. I mean, Isaiah Likely's coming up from the Ravens. I think that's a question mark. I think that's something you need to look at. The lack of quality talent in the playmaking position was worrying. I think they got too much away from their Ramondre Stevenson sort of running plays as well. They were gaining a good 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yards quite frequently, actually, and they just turned away from it completely and gave it to May, who was throwing it behind his receivers. But I think, looking at the offseason, the big thing for me is, yes, sliding Campbell to left guard probably makes a little bit of sense. If he was healthier, would he have been better tonight? Yeah, I would also say that as well. But I also think a quality left tackle is probably the play. AJ Brown is absolutely something that has to be targeted this offseason. He doesn't want to be in Philadelphia. He loves the Patriots. He loves Vrabes. a lot of it makes sense. Now, what do they want for him is obviously another conversation. But as much as I quite love Diggs, and I think had we had Diggs, a season or two earlier, it would have been great. Tonight and a little bit of the off season kind of shown that we've not got enough from Diggs. Trevion Henderson, obviously, maybe next year into a second season will help. Absolutely. Stevenson, obviously, I still think is a good player in Stevenson. Speak to the Patriots fans. There's not as much love for Stevenson as maybe I'm going to give him. But there is a really big question about the lack of talent on the offense, but also there's a conversation around the lack of pass rush help. We've not had Landry for about half a season. I don't know. I really don't know what his injury truly was, but he's not been the same since the Saints game. Anthony Jennings probably going to be done this summer. Obviously Milt and Barmore are very solid in the center of things, but they clearly need defensive end help. They clearly do, and there's talk about Crosby. Hendrickson, I doubt is going to be something they're going to go for. A little bit older. I mean, there was talk about Garrett as well in the before the trade deadline. Sorry, they clearly need it, and yeah, they probably would have made a massive difference. I get that, but all in all, yes, the season has been a positive. There's no one that can say anything otherwise. You get people saying, this is why Stafford won the MVP. The regular season award was determined that he should win it by the postseason ability. It shows a very severe lack of ball knowledge to say such an idiotic, such moronic thing. And Stafford's great, by the way. And people that voted Stafford MVP, there's nothing wrong with that. But to say that this game was the reason why Stafford won it shows a lack of ball knowledge, which is quite scary. To say Bo Nix would have been better in this game, I don't know what it is about ex-American footballers who have gone down the path of the Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless. I'm going to say the most outrageous thing possible, hoping that you react to it, hoping that you basically build my algorithm for me, that I can reap the benefits of my, I hope, fake stupidity. And I really hope, like Richard Sherman, fake stupidity. Because Sherman was a fantastic cornerback, but his TV personality and his ability to actually talk about football is worse than the guy in the dive bar. For the American, the dive bar. For the Brits, a dive bar. For the guy that's the idiot sitting at the end of the bar who says the most outlandish things, hoping that someone will speak to him. That's what Sherman's doing. I mean, there's a reason why, obviously, his show with Skip did so well on FS1. But in reality, Stafford was a great quarterback this year. And there's nothing that I'm going to say about Stafford that I don't think is fair. I'm not going to sit here and trash him. Not at all. He was fantastic this year. Okay, I'm not even going to talk about the weapons or the offensive line or the coaching. I'm not going to talk about it because it's irrelevant. Stafford wasn't in the game, right? Stafford played 2 weeks ago and he lost. And you know what? Losing is fine. It's not a problem, right? It's not a problem. But to pit a guy who's 23, who is in the second year of his career in the Super Bowl against a guy who's, 15, 16, however many years Stafford's in, and sort of pit one against another for a regular season award in the most the most postseason and postseason games, it really just shows that you're trying to get a bit of money out of Elon Musk, which is quite sad. There's a lot of really great American football commentators, and I mean commentators in terms of analysts and ex-pros who, you can sit there and even if they're talking about bad against your team, you can listen to it and go, I feel like I'm still learning. But you get a lot of them who go, oh God, I'm not getting the money from Elon that I wished for, so I need to say stupid stuff, hoping that Elon's going to help my algorithm and pay me. I thought Sherman was probably paid well as a quarterback. Evidently was paid as a minimum player. Didn't realize it was that bad. Sorry, mate. But in reality, the Seahawks were much better today. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. The Patriots, are they going to be back there next year? There's no guarantee that. There's absolutely no guarantee that. You would hope Josh Allen will step up and deliver. You would hope Lamar will step up and deliver. You would hope Joe Burrow is going to get kind of what Drake May needs, an offensive line and a defense for Joe Burrow. May has a defense, but you know what I mean. And for Mahomes, obviously, let's see, obviously the big injury. Let's see how he comes back. He could do with an offensive line. Obviously, he has Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey. That helps. Let's see about his left tackle and if he stays around long enough. We'll see. But in reality, getting back to a Super Bowl is not guaranteed. It isn't. You know, you look at the NFC this year and think, would the Packers have been different with Micah still being around? Maybe. Would the Lions be more different if they didn't have a gajillion injuries on their defense? Maybe. Would the 49ers be different if they didn't have pretty much the core of their team all missing? Maybe. But that's the way the world works. It doesn't always swing your way. And that's the key thing to take from this game. Has it swung the Patriots' way? No, it hasn't. Is that fair to say? Yes, it is. Is the season still a success? Yes, it is. There's also that. I'm recording this at 3:38 a.m. on a Monday, 9th of February. And I'm there. You can't see, but that jersey there is a Patriots jersey from a long time ago. Give me a second. You can see why. A very, very old school Patriots jersey. Had it for 10 odd years. 6 years without the Super Bowl hurt. It definitely did. I've grown accustomed to success. But does that mean it never comes back? No. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed. No. I kind of hope that you take away anything from this video as a person that has, yes, some feelings towards a lack of success tonight, as it's painful. But I also hope you take away something from this video as someone that has some degree of realism to say, yes, it's success. Yes, tonight was a failure. Absolutely. Is there signs for progress? Absolutely. Do we need to degrade a player to prop up other players because it suits other fans' feelings? No, we don't need to do that. No, we don't need to do that. Those quarterbacks that we're all talking about are all great quarterbacks. Just the fact that you'll sit there and crying about it shows more about you than it does actually mean the quarterback you're defending, obviously. But obviously, the end of the season is here, 3:40 a.m. And there's a lot that now takes place. There's a lot of teams with great cap space, and the Patriots will end up being a team with great cap space, which obviously Gonzo and May coming up. There's obviously question marks. There's a lot to be excited about for Patriots fans. There is. I know it won't feel like it right now. I know it will feel terrible. I know it will feel miserable. There's a lot of great stuff to take away from tonight. Just believe. Be patient. Let the dust settle. Watch this in the morning even. But realise there's more to this tonight than what you're seeing. And we shall see. But that's the wrap up of the 2025/2026 season. It's been a great season for the NFL. I've enjoyed every single minute of it, regardless of this team right here. I've enjoyed every single minute of the season. It's been a great season. Loads of fantastic things have happened, and look, I look forward to the 2026 season and all of this all again in 7 months' time. Miserable, I know. But look after yourselves. I look forward to the off season. I'll see you all very soon. Take care. Peace.